Hi, everybody. This is Robin Heron. I am the Carnivorous Grandma, and I'd like to welcome you guys to the Women of Wisdom Speaks series. This is my very first live stream, and I'm so excited to be here with Ellie from Nourishment Redacted. As you guys may know, I am a grandmother of 11, and I just wanted to bring her on. I wanted to talk a little bit more about children. So I'm going to pop Ellie in right now.
Hi,
Hi, Ellie.
everyone. Hi. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here, Ellie. I've been watching you all over the place and just really listening to your story and enjoying what I'm hearing about you and about your family.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been absolutely crazy, I feel like, since I've started YouTube, but ultimately since starting Carnivore and incorporating that with my family. So it's just been
Yeah.
such a blessing for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. So I do have a scripture that goes along with this series, and that is Proverbs 14:1, and it talks about a wise woman building her house. So Ellie just told me that she's 33 years old, and I was thinking that you were much younger. You look like a little girl.
Is it the pigtails?
But I just think that wisdom, when I think about wisdom, that it doesn't take a lot of age to be wise. And I think you're making some super awesome choices for your family. So
Thank
can you
you.
just introduce yourself? I'm not sure who's here with us, but I do see hello from DC. So welcome to Tracy.
Hi,
And
Tracy.
can you just introduce yourself, Ellie?
Of course. Okay. I'm Ellie. I'm 33 years old. I'm married. I've been married for about 6 years, but I've been with my husband for almost 13. And we have two children. We have my daughter who is 3, and I have my son who is 1. And we're a little family, but I think that becoming a mother has been one of the best things in my life that has ever happened. The moment that my daughter was born was the day that I found God. I see, like,
Oh,
once my water broke, and we could go into that if you want later, but
yes.
so I this year I've been going to church, and that's been such a wonderful experience for all of my children. My daughter, it's been about, I'd say, 3 or 4 years since I've a little bit before my daughter, but like it really solidified. So I'll say 4 years becoming Christian, and things I like to do. I like to paint. I enjoy writing. I enjoy doing like playing like video games with my husband. Like that's something we like all the little nerdy things, and stuff like that. And
Awesome.
I am making my YouTube channel so that I can spread awareness about the carnivore diet because it has truly changed my life.
Yeah, me
That's
too. Same here.
I know.
I'm gonna put this up on the screen if I can here. So, hey, here,
Hi.
Keto Oregonian. And this is so
Hi.
true. What Keto Oregonian is saying is that Ellie's going to reach a whole new generation of women with the benefits of carnivore. And I, like you, am trying to reach people with this message because I really feel like although there's a strong contingent of carnivores out there, it's really pretty small overall. And
Oh,
so, want to
absolutely.
get the word out there and let people know that there's a better way. So, can you tell us a little bit about your channel? So, your nourishment has been redacted. I went and looked at it and I saw those extra words in there.
Yeah. So it's so funny. So I've been seeing such great success with my carnivore diet. And first it started off with keto, but then now it's, carnivore more recently. And we can go more into my story in a little bit. But I had a dream where I was reading a large tome, like a large book, and it was about how our ancestral eating is reliance on fatty meats and possibly like seasonal vegetables and fruit if we were starving, but emphasis on the meat and how important cholesterol is for, just all these things. And I was reading it. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that the words started becoming redacted, large black lines covering all of them. And I felt this weight on my heart that I can't let this happen. And so and just before the night I had this dream, the word nourishment was just like on my mind. And so I felt like they've come together. And so I believe that people have had their nourishment redacted from their lives through like big pharma. They want to sell you all this medicine that's going to like nothing can cure you except when you heal your mind, your body, and your soul. And I feel like carnivore really helps with all three of them, honestly. It places you firmly in the ground. And so I want to unredact people. That's like my little thing.
That's your mission. Yeah. And
My
it
mission.
sounds like you had a vision, of that.
Yes.
And that's absolutely incredible because that is truly what has happened. If you think about, I was just looking at, I think it was Laura Spath. She's traveling and she
Yeah.
showed a grocery store overseas somewhere.
Oh, I saw that
It's,
too.
yeah. And it's an American grocery store where you don't see anything nourishing in the picture at all.
Yes. It was all
But it's
like
all food,
chips.
right?
Right. And that's something I want to teach others is that the definition of food has been tainted. Those things
Right.
are not food. Not and I thought it was so funny that it was like American, like an American store. So obviously
Yes.
it's pertaining to like tourists and stuff. That I believe she was in Spain, right?
I couldn't remember where
Madrid, I
exactly she
think. Yeah.
was, but I saw that today and I was like, that's so true that there's no nourishment in the food. It's just
Yes.
empty calories
Mhm.
and it really doesn't benefit the body the way that meat does. And as you were saying about those, um, I was just talking about this the other day with my daughter, I think, my oldest daughter. And I was saying to her how, back in the day, in the ancestral times, they didn't have fruit all year long. When something berries or something like that came in season, they ate it then and only then, and it was like a special treat. But now we have fruit coming in all year long. And then the fruit is all genetically modified and as well as the
Absolutely.
vegetables. It's just like, it's crazy. When I grew up, there was no such thing as broccoli. I never seen it
That's so
ever.
interesting. Wow. Because that
I
was something we
never,
ate all the time growing up was
yeah.
broccoli. So I
So
think
my
that's
kids did. My kids ate
yeah.
broccoli, but I never heard of broccoli when I was a kid. We had greens, we had green beans, we
Right.
had
Mhm.
corn, we had snap peas, things that you could get out of the garden.
Mhm.
You could garden yourself
Right.
and grow those foods. But, like I never ever saw a broccoli until my kids. So,
Isn't that
you know,
scary? Like, we're
what is
laughing
that?
about it, but it's so
What is it?
scary. And
Hmm.
these are things that just, like, a few generations will never know. So
Right.
that's why I'm so happy that you Oh, hi, Christy.
Hi,
I'm so happy
Christy.
that you have this perspective and you have your own wisdom and your own knowledge that you can apply, and you're teaching all, your children and your grandchildren, and that's, like, the beauty of family, I think, is
Yes, it is.
passing along all of the past knowledge, and when you pass your knowledge, you also grow, and you
Right.
also open your mind up to new perspectives, and it's just the thought of broccoli not existing is just so funny to me.
I mean, maybe it was out there, but I never heard of it. I never saw it. And I'm
Mm,
57, so I'm not
yeah.
extremely old, but I mean,
Mm-mm.
I'm just
No.
thinking about my grandmother. She probably never heard of a broccoli ever or a
Right.
cauliflower. That was something that, I mean, I never saw that when I was growing up. It probably was exotic. It might have been an
Maybe.
exotic
Where
food.
did you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. So US, but hi Karen. I just popped Karen's message up there.
Oh,
So hi Karen,
hi,
how are you?
Karen.
All right, so let's get to our next question then.
Sure.
So, can you just talk about your story? Tell us about your journey. How did you get here?
All right. So the I always say I feel like I'm like a broken record, but I feel like this is the way to describe it. It's like the lowest point in my life. was in 2018. I was 240 pounds. I had depersonalization disorder like attacks, where it's like you're having out of body experiences due to panic and panic attacks on top of that. And I had rosacea, boils, skin tags. I had floaters in my eyes. I had no desire to do anything. I wanted to live in my bed and eat and escape from the world. And I always say this, but if it wasn't for my husband, I don't know how I would have survived. My panic attacks got so bad, I ended up dropping out of college, which I had worked so hard on. I was getting my bachelor's, was about 80% done, and it took me a long time to be able to do that and feel accomplished. And I do have my associate's degree, but it's like I had to drop out of college because it was getting like they would get so bad that it was like my throat would close up and I would just cry and scream and be in a fetal position. Like my mental health was at its worst. I see pictures of myself or even I even have videos. I'm like, oh my gosh, my videos, I was just wrecked. I had no spiritual awareness. I had nothing. And so I tried my best to get out of bed and try to work and, try to be a member of society, but I just kept failing no matter what I did. And I was doing what I always did. I was on, which is really ironic. I was on YouTube. Now I'm doing YouTube, but it's like me. So I was on YouTube and I found this thing. Sorry, that's my son. My husband is taking care of
okay.
him. I
No
promise.
problem.
He's one, so
Yeah.
um,
That's what it's all about. Those kiddos.
I know, right? I just don't want to enter. If it's too loud, I apologize.
No,
But
it's fine.
I found keto, and it was saying everything that I have been told is, like a lie. Like stay away from fat because I've done all the diets. I've done all the calorie restricting. I've done all the trying to work out. It's like, how can you work out when you're so heavy? And you like my thighs would rub, like, I'm a pear shape. So it's like all booty, all thighs. And it was
We're
like
the same club.
Yes. It's a good club to be in. I mean,
it's all right.
Yeah.
People like it.
Yeah. And so it was just
benefits.
so yeah, I think so. Except pants never fit you because the waist. Right. It's like if they fit the hips and the booty, you got to wear a belt.
Waist is way more, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's been my whole life. So I was like, oh my gosh, let's just try it. And so I just dove into it. And so I did it for 6 months. And during that 6 months, I was able to lose over 50 pounds. And all of the ailments that I had described to you earlier were gone. And I felt incredible. And I had really irregular periods. Those became regular. And my husband and I, we wanted to start a family. We're thinking maybe, like giving me motherhood, like having a child would like, help me and like give me sense of purpose. And I wanted to have children. My husband wanted to have children and be together and stuff like that. So I was able to get pregnant and I felt so good. And then I started going to the doctor and she was saying, you're going to harm your baby. You need to stop right now. That is a dangerous way of eating. And so like, what do? You listen to your doctor. And so I stopped and I was mindful of carbohydrates in the form of sugar. Like I was like, okay, I can't eat any sugar because I know sugar is bad for me. And then, everyone can, I feel like that's like a level, like, what is it? Level playing field. Like everyone can get behind sugar's bad for you. Okay.
Right.
Yep, so it was like, so I just tried to minimize, but I had no emphasis on meat. I was all about carbs. See, there was still this like number game, although it had helped me. And so I stopped keto and my depression came back. And my daughter was born in 2020 where everyone was isolated. It was so hard. It was like you couldn't, when you're a new mom, you rely on your parents and like the family. And I even had to cancel my baby shower because,
Oh,
it's like all the things I had looked forward to. I felt so good. I lost all this weight and I'm pregnant and the baby's healthy. And it's like, then everything, I mean, we all have, I shouldn't be, I'm not complaining about not having a baby shower, but just like my,
understand.
moments were taken away, just
Yeah.
so, and then I started eating more and more sugar, started drinking coffee again. I started relying on all these old habits. And so, when after you have, and I had a fairly healthy pregnancy, maybe I gained like 10, 15 pounds after giving birth. Like it's not, I'm not complaining about it. But then, pounds started slowly coming back. And then I would like maybe lose some. Like, so I was kind of fluctuating with that. And then I gave birth to my son in this year. Oh, I mean, last year. I'm so sorry. Last year, last year,
He's
July.
one, right?
Yeah, he's one. His birthday was this year. That's what I'm thinking. And
Yeah.
so, I was still kind of doing standard American diet, but trying to stay away from processed foods and sugar. And then earlier in the year, I love Jordan Peterson, Dr. Jordan Peterson. I love
Mhm.
his books. I love his lectures. I love his ideas on philosophy. His daughter, talks about her depression and his depression, like all these things. And I was like, well, nobody is inside me. Like, I'm done having babies. Maybe I can try this again. Like, maybe carnivore is like keto 2.0. That was kind of
Yeah.
like the idea in my head. And
Right.
so I was like, I'm going to do this. And I did, but I did more research and I learned more about the importance of meat. When I was eating keto, I was following like Dr. Berg, and he recommends you eat like 7 to 10 cups of spinach a day and lots of nuts. And I was relying on like making keto pizza and like keto bread and like all those substitutes. And so I was never really digging deep into
Mhm.
the reasons why I was craving like those foods. And so like I feel like carnivore is a lot cheaper than therapy because so it's like people are like, oh, groceries are so expensive. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't have to go see a therapist.
Right. Right.
It's like
Yes.
it's just the brain fog is gone. And so I've been my whole family is officially carnivore about 2, 3 months ago. I've been carnivore consistently for about almost 5 months, but my son has been carnivore longer. So it's
Oh,
just
wow.
funny, which is
That
funny.
is funny.
So in January, my son turned 6 months, and I was like, carnivore is everything. This is how we have to eat. And I was doing carnivore too. And it was absolutely, I felt great. But then I made a mistake, and I don't think other carnivores like hearing that I made this mistake, but I'm gonna say it. I ate old meat that was in my fridge that wasn't
Oh,
properly
mhm.
marked down, and so I got
Mhm.
sick. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the meat's fault; it's my fault. I wasn't prepared. So I got
Yeah.
sick, and it threw me off, and I was like, oh, I wasn't as serious, but I had learned so much. I was like, oh, well, I can have a little thing here, I can have a little thing there. And then it just kind of broke apart. But I kept my son on it because I know the importance of meat. I know the importance of butter. I know the importance of like egg yolks and, like all this beautiful fatty food. So I was like, I want my
Yeah.
son to get the best diet possible. And we were working on my daughter who was eating standard American diet, but no processed foods. I was a whole food kind of mama, and but she was addicted to carbohydrates. She would only want to eat, like she would wake up in the morning groggy and crying and like so upset all the time, and she goes, I want a banana, mommy, I think I want a banana. And that would be the first thing, sugar. It's like we have to retrain our minds to not just, people. I remember it was so funny. My sister got married in May, and after the wedding, we were all at the hotel, and we were talking with family and stuff like that, and they were like, "Oh, that's so good. Your daughter's eating fruit. That's healthy. Fruit's healthy." And I was like, "Ugh." Like it's just like a
Yeah, I know.
stab, like
I
right
know.
here. It's like, what do I say? What do I do? It's like, because I was trying to say, I'm trying to get her off of it, not trying to like step on anybody's toes. But anyway, so we did a long transition. We can go into more detail if you have more questions about that. Getting my
Yeah.
daughter off. She used to just want to eat crackers, bread, bananas, rice. She hardly ever wanted to touch meat. Vegetables were a no. Um, and it was just like, it was so hard to see like these sugar crashes that she would constantly have. And I wanted to do better for her. And so did my
Yes.
husband. My husband,
Yes.
I didn't even mention my husband. So like my husband has ulcerative colitis, and he's been suffering with that for about uh 14 years, I believe. And he's almost died like 4 or 5 times, like feeding tubes. His one day I would love to get him on my channel so he can express his story about how food has failed him, how
Is that
doctors have failed
Carnivore
him.
Kent that is the person who has ulcerative colitis? I think I've
Yes,
been
he
hearing.
does. I just learned about him. I
Yes.
saw his
I was just watching him on Homestead How, of course.
yes, I we
Yeah.
have that in
I think
common.
his name
We
is
were both
Kent, but Carnivore Kent is his channel, and he has ulcerative colitis, and if you're interested in his story, you should check him out.
yes.
Yeah.
He speaks very well. He's very well educated. He's passionate, and I
Yeah.
just see it. It's just like he glows. Like it's amazing.
It's
My husband has had
amazing.
a lot of damage in his colon. He doesn't have hardly any ridges. He's on a medicine called Remicade, which is kind of like a sister drug to chemotherapy, and
Oh,
he gets an infusion like every 8 weeks. And we've not taken him off of that, even though carnivore has helped him so much. It's just like I can't lose him. I'm just being honest. Not that I don't think
yeah.
carnivore would
Interesting.
sustain him, because he has gone like he's done carnivore in a previous like year or two ago, and he had to do it and he did it for 9 months, and he had no flare-ups or anything like that for a long time. So it's like I know it could work, but we're just not that like comfortable place right now.
Yeah.
But he's had so
Understood.
many amazing benefits from it, like stopping snoring. His face is cleared up. He's lost so much weight, and then he wasn't even heavy. Like he's getting muscular.
It's the
He looks
men, you know?
younger. He looks younger. We can't stop
Yeah.
looking at each other. We're like,
Oh, you look good. You look
it's
good.
like, thank you. So do you. So because of his condition, we didn't want that for our children, because that could
Right.
potentially they're genetically, what is it,
Predisposed.
predisposed. Thank you.
No
I
problem.
got all these thoughts in my head. It's
Yeah,
like
I get it.
they're predisposed to it, and his mom has type 1 diabetes, and unfortunately she's starting to seeing signs of dementia because of all the processed foods. And like I mean, like sometimes her blood sugar goes up to like 400.
Oh my
Like I'm
god.
talking like it's like she has that continuous like blood
Glucose monitor,
glucose
yeah.
monitor, and then it pumps the insulin to her. So at least she's not pricking herself anymore. Like she was doing that all
Oh, she has
day,
a
So
pump.
it's like,
Okay, yeah, so
yeah,
her
pump, that's it. And
yeah.
so like and then my story with obesity, depression, depersonalization disorder is just like, and all the other things. It's like we have to change. This is not just I want to lose weight. I want to look good. Yeah, sure. It feels good that I've lost so much weight. So I'm down from the beginning. I'm down 65 pounds.
Oh,
On
congratulations.
carnivore, thank you. On carnivore, I'm down 30 pounds in these 4 or 5 months,
Mhm.
and it's like we feel so good. My daughter doesn't have
Your
these like
mom, is that
pressures.
your mom that you were talking about? Or your
My
husband's
mom,
mom? She has,
my mother-in-law has type
your
1
mother-in-law,
diabetes.
okay.
Yeah.
And is she carnivore yet?
No, she can. It's like we've tried. She was like, "I tried it for 2 weeks and I felt horrible." And
Oh my gosh,
it's
yeah,
like I mean, that's one thing that I'm proud about us carnivores, is that we don't force people to do this.
that's right.
We just
No, we
we
don't.
just
We just give
we
them the
just
information
on the
and let them
table.
yeah.
We use ourselves
Well,
as role models.
yes, right. Well, I originally used to think that type 1 diabetics could not do keto and carnivore. So way back when I started over 10 years ago doing
Mhm.
carnivore or keto, they were saying that it was good for type 2 diabetics, but not for type
Right.
1. But the
I
further
remember
that
that.
we've gone on and the more people have tried it, we're finding out that it's good for type 1 diabetics also. So maybe someday your mom will try it. I hope so.
I hope so too, because I feel like she needs it more than ever.
Yeah.
They say like dementia and Alzheimer's are like diabetes 3.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yep.
that's like what they're going around. It's like we could change so many people's lives if they just change their diet. And now we're not saying you have to be a 100% just meat,
Right.
like at least keto.
Yes.
Like have
Exactly.
some.
My mom is she started carnivore a few weeks ago, and she's really more ketovore because she does like to have some vegetables and stuff like that.
That's
So
okay.
I'm like, yes, that's fine. I'm
That's a
so happy that she
blessing.
tried it. I'm just so happy that she tried it. So I hope that your mother-in-law will try it also. I
We're
did put a
praying.
little a comment up on a couple of comments up on the screen, and I just
Oh
kind of
yeah,
want to go
let's read
back to
them.
your baby for a second. I'm going to go back to this one from Meeting Wellness. And it's talking about, seeing firsthand what the kids are fed in school and the effects of it. Many foods the kids get, the first or second ingredient is sugar. And that is so true. We're talking about, kids eating fruit. Well, that is a sugar. It's a
Yes,
sugar. And it
absolutely.
metabolizes in the body like sugar. And so just thinking about your son, I'm just so proud of you for keeping him on
You
a
make me
carnivore
cry.
diet.
Grandma, you're gonna make me cry. Stop it.
I truly am, because
Thank you.
you think about the things that he's never going to have to experience. He might have a tantrum, but it won't be a sugar coma tantrum.
No,
You know what I
he
mean?
is
He won't have
absolutely.
brain fog.
Yes.
All of the kind of things that all these kids are trying to struggle with in school. These mental disorders, like ADD, ADHD. I'm sure that there are some other causes for that, but sugar is the primary one. He won't
Yes.
have to deal with that. I'm just proud of you for making that choice for your family. It's super good.
Thank you. And my daughter is doing fantastic. Like she used to have so many tantrums and like they've like cut 75%. I mean she's 3. She's gonna have, like I want to do this,
Yeah.
but it's like less narcissism, like they all say like toddlers are little narcissistic people.
That's
But
true.
she's so sweet. She's always been sweet, but it's like it's coming out more and more and more.
Yeah.
We just took the kids to the doctor on Friday, and like their height and their weight is like perfect. They're doing fantastic. Like
That's
she was so
awesome.
happy, and I even told her that we're not eating grains, we're not eating sugar. They're eating meat and dairy, and they'll have some fruit. Because they'll have some. Like I think
Right.
we bought strawberries for the week, but we haven't had strawberries in like 2 months. So it's not
Yeah.
anything like, and it's not every meal, it's like just something extra because they're children. They should experience some
Yes.
things, and sugar and
That's true.
strawberries are very low in the glycemic index. I'm fine
Yes.
with it.
Yep.
It's not
Yep.
like yeah, so but they eat mostly meat and dairy. That's it.
That's awesome.
And water.
Keto Oregonian said, "It's a shame. I see what the goldfish crackers and cereal do to the kids in our church nursery. And I want to shout, make it stop." And I agree with that. Because we get these snacks that we have to give, and most
Yes.
of them they're not food. That's what it is. They're not food. They are chemicals, and they're a bunch of grains and highly processed. And when you see what happens to the kids after they eat that, they are wired. They're
Yes.
bouncing off the walls. I definitely agree with you, Keto Oregonian, that it's a shame that we're feeding that to our kids. So I'm excited for your son, and I want to watch him grow up on YouTube and see how amazing he is, and your daughter too. It's going to be
Thank
so
you.
awesome. Meeting Wellness says yes to that pear-shaped woman story. Absolutely.
She's
Pants
also a
never
fellow.
fit.
She's a fellow pear shape.
Oh my gosh.
Christy's my
Yeah,
girlfriend.
the waist is always too big and the thighs are too tight. I hear you. Okay, let's see what else we got down here. Just going to go through here and just show a couple more of these, and then I'll go to my next question.
Oh, sure. I'd love to.
So Rhonda, here's Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda. I'm going to be chatting with Rhonda next weekend, and I'm super excited about it. Look how beautiful she is.
Yay. I
She's so
know.
pretty.
Gorgeous. I love the
um,
pose. It's so sweet.
yes, so cute. And then let's see. Ellie, let's see. Meeting Wellness says, "Yay, Ellie, 65 pounds down. You are looking great, girl." And she is so right. You are looking great, girl.
Thank you.
All right, let me go to my next question. So, you've already talked about your results. So,
Yeah.
you said that you lost 65 pounds. You got rid of your panic attacks. That's
Yes, they're
amazing. That's
gone. I
amazing.
sleep. I can. There's more. Like the
So
list goes on. It's
yeah,
like,
please go on and tell
yeah,
us about all of the amazing benefits that you've
sure.
received from the
So this
carnivore
this is
diet.
one this is one you probably don't expect. So, when I was a teenager, I dislocated my knee, right? And so that was a long time ago. And then in May of this year, a few days into the carnivore diet, I dislocated my knee again. I slipped on water in my kitchen, and it was, I have to say, because I remember the pain, except for the first night. That was like there was a demon in my leg. That was horrible. But I have to say the inflammation, there
Mm.
was hardly any. Like,
Oh,
I
wow.
think that my knee should have been the size of, like, a grapefruit, and it
Mhm.
was probably the size of, like, a baseball. Like, it was just, I mean,
Wow.
obviously, I could not walk on it, I was in pain, but I feel like, I mean, now I'm walking around, I'm doing just fine, that, yeah, it takes, like, a couple of months, but I was supposed to have surgery
Oh,
on
wow.
my knee, and, the recovery time for that is 5 months.
Oh
They
my gosh.
the 1 month that my husband kinda had to take off, and we were trying to get family to, like, take care of, my husband's parents are much older, they're, like, in their 70s, and my mom, she has, um my mom has, like, rheumatoid arthritis and stuff, like, so she's not the most able.
Oh, well, yeah.
Um, so it's kind of like we're a little alone, so he had to take off work and everything like that, and I feel like I've recovered so much faster with my dislocated knee. I didn't really walk for 6 weeks, and I lost 15 pounds.
What?
I
That's
didn't even
amazing.
walk. Like, it was, like, melting off. That was me. I was in my bed,
Oh my
and
gosh, that's
I just
incredible.
it's like, ho what better, like, way if you wanna convince someone to come on carnivore for that, just tell them, like, "I knew this girl. She dislocated her knee. She didn't move. She couldn't even walk to the bathroom by herself, and she lost
Wow.
15 pounds."
15 pounds. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
There's probably a lot of water weight, but still, like, it's, like, that good, like, creak open the door a little bit, "Hey, why don't you just
Yeah,
try
come on,
this?
man.
It's not gonna
Come
hurt."
on in.
It's just, it won't hurt you, like, if you don't like it after you give it 30, 60 days, like, really
Right.
give it a go, like,
Give it a good try. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's what I'm talking to my family about is, there are like my mom, she joined me. My sister who lives overseas, she joined me, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, is going to try it. My son is gonna try it. And I'm like, "Just give it a good 30-day try. See how amazing you feel. You're not gonna wanna go back." So that's what I
No.
really, believe about it is that they will not wanna go back once see how good they feel. So I just wanna put this up here. So, Keto Vorgonian.
Yeah.
What is your first name? Because I keep saying Keto Vorgonian. So can you put that in the chat? I can't wait to see what the carnivore kids do in this world. I agree. I definitely agree. They're going to be amazing. You know how far ahead of their peers they're going to be because of the fact that they're not brain fogged or brain clogged with all that sugar
Mhm. Or
and
addicted.
the and addicted. Yeah. Yep. Which is
That's what
what
I was.
I was too.
We
Absolutely,
were all
100%.
addicted to food. We use a lot.
Exactly.
You might relate with this, emotional eating,
Yes.
using that, and it's like you're not hungry all the time. You're not constantly thinking about what you're gonna eat. You're not having
Right.
this like sense of like gluttony of being like, I ate chicken yesterday and I don't want to, like, I ate chicken enchiladas yesterday. I don't want to eat chicken enchiladas again. It's like, how
Yes.
could you be so ungrateful for the
Right,
food? It gives
right.
you, like, when you limit, like, I mean, we're limiting how, like, what we can eat, but in reality, what we're doing is we're eating the proper food, species
Right.
specific food. So we're
Yes.
not, eating something like, rabbits are supposed to eat. We're carnivores. We're actually, like, expanding how we go throughout this world because we're no longer addicted. and we're just
Right.
fueling our body. Like, I hardly ever think about food. Like, my stomach
Me too.
grumbles now. Isn't it? Like, did
That's
you ever?
weird. Oh my
It's
gosh.
weird. It's weird. It's like, why are you talking? That never happened. I used to eat and eat and eat and like till my stomach was about to like you could feel the stretching. You could feel
Yes.
that like, and then you regret it. I was extremely
Right.
constipated before carnivore. I would
Me
only go
too.
once a month,
Oh my gosh.
and I would be in pain for 5, 6 hours trying to pass these many bowel movements. It was like at least 3 or 4, you know?
Oh my
And it's like
God.
now on carnivore, I'm like 2, 3 times a week.
Wow. I have that same,
No
well,
fiber.
not quite as
It was
severe as
bad.
yours, but I had
It was
IBS with constipation
Yeah,
very bad. Like I was always often constipated.
yeah.
And now I'm just regular,
Who would have
just
thought?
regular. Like, and if you've never been constipated, you don't know how terrible. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare being constipated
Yeah,
is. And so I know that in my family, that kind of run in the family.
yeah.
My kids have it, my sister has it. I think my mom not so much, but just being carnivore changed that. I have not had any constipation at all since I've been
And
on
what did
carnivore, since day
and
one.
I'm sure you went to the doctor and you were like, "I'm constipated. What do I do?" And what do they say? Just take this Mucinex,
Oh,
put
yeah,
it
take some
in the
fiber.
water or whatever it's called. Not Mucinex.
Add
What's
some
it called?
fiber to that fiber that's stuck in
Yes.
your colon.
Yeah. Not Mucinex is for when you have a cold. I don't even remember what it's called.
It's called
That
Metamucil.
Metamucil. Thank you. Whatever.
Yeah,
Garbage product. It's like, and drink
yeah,
prunes, like eat more vegetable. And it's like I did all those things.
yeah.
And it was
And that
just like
stuff
I would
doesn't
rely
work.
on laxatives.
Yeah,
I
and the
relied on
thing is
laxatives.
that
Yeah.
what they tell you is, or what we are taught to think, I guess, is that if you eat meat, it's gonna make you constipated. I've
Yeah.
talked to so many people who have said, "I can't eat all that meat. It's gonna make my stomach hurt. It's gonna make me constipated." And it's when it's the opposite. It's everything else that's making you constipated, not the meat.
That
They're like,
is
"Oh,
what makes
I
me
definitely can't
yeah.
eat that much beef." No, because it's gonna make me constipated. So, that is just it's just a lie. It's just not true. It's just not true.
Redacted, if you will.
Yeah, redacted. Exactly.
It's like, nope, you don't get to know that information. Nope.
So I want to introduce you guys to Becky. Hi, Becky.
Okay. Yay.
I'm gonna try to remember that, Becky. I wrote it down. So next time I see your name, I'll know that your name is Becky. Nice to meet you.
She always writes such wonderful comments on my videos. I
Yes.
so appreciate it.
So kind,
But
so kind. Okay, so before your transition, we talked a little bit about your prior diet, that you did a standard American diet. Did you have any
yeah.
trouble with like yo-yo dieting or doing multiple different diets and things
Oh
like that?
yeah. Yeah. For me, it was more about like calorie restriction. Like I would count my calories. I used my Fitness Pal. I was at like
Mhm.
years ago, I was able to lose like 20, 30 pounds, like because of just calorie counting. And I had like low fat, lots of vegetables. My husband would take, like, God bless him, he would take me outside and we'd run and like go to the gym. He tried to
Yeah.
help me because that was like in our early college days. He was doing judo, the martial art. And so like he would take me to class and I would try it. I am not a fighter. I'm not a fighter. And so it was just like I tried. And then, it's like you're doing good. You're like, yeah. And then, oh, I gotta cheat. It's the weekend. And then that
Oh
cheat
yeah.
becomes another meal. It's like the snowball effect of like,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, let's order Chinese food. And then you eat like half the Chinese food and you buy like the amount of like for 8 people. And then you eat half of it. And then you're like, oh, I have leftovers. I can't let this go to waste. And then you eat more. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah.
Vicious cycle.
Yo-yo dieting, not
100%.
any
Yes.
particular diet, but it's like fitted in these number parameters, like 1,200 calories a day. Like that's nothing.
Oh my God.
I'm a
I
five
can
seven
imagine.
woman. I'm five
Oh,
seven, and I need more food.
you need more food. No wonder you were starving.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, same thing here. I've done all the diets, literally,
Yeah.
so many different diets. But yeah, calorie. I just remember like back in the day, maybe about 20 years ago, I was hearing you need to eat more food. You need to eat more. Like if you eat 1,200 calories, you won't lose weight. And I found that to be true. That I could not lose weight on those
Yeah.
low fat, low calorie diets. And I would just be torturing myself eating lettuce and stuff. And I literally have hated lettuce my whole life. I don't like lettuce. I'm so glad I don't have to eat lettuce. Like I'm just
Yes.
thankful that I don't have to eat lettuce because I hate it.
Thank you. No more spinach.
No more
No more
spinach.
Brussels sprouts.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
I kind of grew to like vegetables. Like my
Yeah.
mom would make when I was a baby, she'd make me like vegetable omelets because I was constipated. It's just like it
Trying
took
to
me a
clear. Yeah.
long
Oh
time.
my
She
gosh.
she did the best she could with the knowledge she had. But like my mom, she has Puerto Rican heritage, and so there was lots of rice. And
Oh
we
yeah.
did eat meat.
Mhm.
We did, we would buy like pork shoulder and for like the holidays, and so a lot of pork, a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
We didn't eat steaks too much unless we went out to like a restaurant or something like that. Um, but truth.
Yes. Lettuce equals torture. I just hate it. And I've been talking about this with my family for years. Like, I mean, people they're like, oh, I'm gonna make a nice salad. I'm like, there's no such thing as a nice salad. I hate
Unless it
salad.
has bacon and cheese and meat.
And no
Like,
lettuce. No
yeah,
lettuce.
what they like, they don't like salad. They like sugary dressing, and they like having
Yeah.
all the fat, cheese,
Yeah.
bacon, meat, and then maybe they'll have like a crisp tomato. Oh, so
Right.
refreshing.
It's
It's not. What we
so
have to do to process tomatoes, they're a nightshade. They're so poisonous to us. It's like
so poisonous. Oh
the
my
like
God.
the Italians, right? They know how to make a sauce, a gravy. It's like, you know
Right.
how there's so many steps to make the tomato not gonna kill you. Like
Poisonous. That's
basically
right.
poison. It's
You know,
like
the
you have
funny
to.
thing is, it's so funny. I have these tomato trees, or not trees, but tomato plants in my
Mhm.
yard, and there's all these beautiful cherry tomatoes on them. And I'm like, I just need to pull those out and throw them in the trash because I just can't even see myself giving this to my husband. I don't want to give it to him.
Yeah.
So like, they look lovely, but tomatoes are really bad for you. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's gosh,
Onions, eggplants, like, I mean, nightshades have been around, like, I don't even know when they started using the word nightshade, like, it's
nightshade.
just,
Yeah, right.
they talk about poison ivy and, all those things that you have to avoid. It's like, but what about
But
tomatoes? What about eggplant?
you're gonna eat the
Yeah,
other kind. Oh,
and it's gonna be
yeah,
healthy for you, and
right.
you're gonna enjoy it because 'cause you're gonna lose weight, and there's, like, all these false promises that are constantly being told. "Just eat the salad and move more." It's like, "No, I'm good. I'll have my, I'll have my ham like, my burger patties
Burger,
and throw
yeah. I
some
just had
butter
a
on
burger patty
them,"
for
and,
dinner.
it's like, "Yeah, I'll
Pretty
have some
good.
lamb." It's like
Yeah.
so I'm doing line diet currently.
Oh, good for you. I'm gonna start lion on well, sea lion. I'm gonna do sea lion on
I
October
wanna do
1st.
that.
Yes, yes. October
I'm
1st,
trying to
I posted
cure
a poll
yeah.
on my yeah, on my channel and just asked if anybody wanted to do sea lion with me in October. So come on and join me.
I
Yes.
wanna do it.
Yay, yay, yay.
'Cause
I
I'm trying to heal my rosacea. That's something that
okay.
I still have, and it's so funny,
Mhm.
like, Steak and Butter gal, she
Yeah.
talks about how when you have, like, all these things still, like, if you have, like, your hair falling out or you're having, like, psoriasis or, like, skin issues and stuff like that, it could possibly be something that you were eating before you even started carnivore, like, 2 to
Oh,
3 months before, and now you're experiencing kind of like how I saw you went to Hawaii, which was so
yes.
cool, and you
It
ate
was
macadamia
awesome.
nuts, and then you were like all of a sudden like you had, horrible stomach pains and all that stuff. And so it's like what's so awesome about carnivore is that you can try to reintroduce foods, but you learn what's poisonous and what's
Yes.
going to hurt you. And so
Absolutely.
with me, I've learned so much about what's flaring up my rosacea. I've had to cut, and this is sad. Like some people are gonna be like, "No, I can't believe it." I had to cut out eggs. I had to cut out
Mm,
bacon. I had to cut out. I
mm.
mean, obviously, I cut out bread, donuts, all these things, But I've also learned that
Yes.
seasonings, basil, garlic, which I grew up with, and like making sofrito and stuff like that. It's like
Mhm.
garlic and pepper. Like so, for
Yeah,
me,
I
it's
can't eat
kind of
pepper
like
either. Mm-mm,
it's
no
just like
pepper.
I threw away. I made a video about it. I like had to throw away, donate, return to the store all of these spices and oils that were just in my house. Like I'm a minimalist. I try to be anyway.
Good
And
for
I
you.
don't want anything. I'm trying to be girl,
No extra
you
stuff.
know. And it's like I don't want any of that because I don't feel good giving it to my kids.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't feel good giving them like my husband, like my grandma. She stayed with me. She's 80 years old and she's the best. She's hilarious, but she lives in another state. So she came, stayed with me and the kids and my husband for 2 weeks. And so she had her food and we're carnivore. I let my daughter have some rice because that's my grandma's rice. I grew up with it. It's like it's not gonna be forever.
Yes.
So I let her have some of that, but that was when she was more low carb still. She hadn't fully turned into carnivore yet. So I was like, all right, let her have some as grandma. She's, let's hope that we have another like 20 plus years with her. But it's like
Yes.
let her enjoy her great grandma. But my grandma, she made some meats. She's like, okay, I didn't get to finish these and I seasoned them for you. And she made them like with sofrito. So sofrito is like garlic, cilantro, culantro, onion, like but like it's like this green mixture of seasonings. And so she left, and I grew up eating that. It's delicious. It smells so good when you cook when she's making it. It's very nostalgic. So I made that meat for my husband because it's like I know
Mm.
that the seasonings are gonna mess me up. He had so much intestinal pain
Oh,
from
no.
eating it. Like and he has UC, so it's like it was really bad. Like he was like, I thought would have had to go to the hospital, like if it didn't
Oh my
subside. Like
gosh,
that's
poor
how bad.
thing.
I feel so bad, but it's like nothing. Like all that stuff has to be out of my house.
I always talk about body cues because truly, being on carnivore, my body will tell me immediately if something is not right. It will
Oh
tell
yeah.
me, "Oh, yeah, those." Within 30 minutes, I was gassy, and I was like, "Carnivores don't have gas."
It's true. Maybe once a week, and then you're just
Right.
like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah, what
Oh.
happened? Yeah, but yeah, that I knew that I knew it was not agreeing with me
Yeah.
immediately after I ate it. So those body cues are really strong. If you eliminate everything and then you bring stuff back, you'll know what what having issues with. So
Absolutely.
like you said, I can't have pepper either.
Mhm.
I'm not sure about eggs because I've never eliminated them.
Yeah.
But,
I would
I've been
definitely
hearing that egg whites are not very good.
yeah.
Maybe the yolks are okay, but the egg whites might be causing some problems. So,
See, that I haven't tried, even though that's really good advice and I've heard that, but I'm
yeah.
like, am I gonna take the time to make sure there's no egg white? Like, I'm
Right.
lazy. Like,
Right, right,
I
right.
do everything for my family, and that's why I love the scripture that you talk about with like women having wisdom, and
Yeah,
that wisdom is how you take care of the home and your husband
yes.
and your children. And it's like, so I will apply that wisdom and go out of my way to take care of everybody but myself, which is something I'm learning. I'm learning how
Right.
to
Yeah, you have
do
to
like
learn to take care of yourself because you know how they say on the airplane, put your air mask on first, and then you can save your neighbor. All right, let me
exactly.
put a couple of chats up here. Go ahead. Feel free to keep talking.
Nope, I'm gonna drink.
Okay. Tracy says, I was successful with keto after 4 years I stalled. Someone talked me into Optavia. I was calorie restricted to 1,000 calories a day and I've gained 20 pounds. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Tracy. The carnivore crew has been amazing and the carnivore crew is amazing. And truly, somebody was talking to me about something called Golo. Have you heard of it? Some kind of
I
a
have, but
new
I don't
diet
know
thing
what it
called
is.
Golo. And I think it was my stepdad. My stepdad was telling me, my brother's on Go-Low. I'm thinking about trying
Yeah.
Go-Low. I'm like, just go carnivore. And he loves meats. He's a smoking champion. He smokes all the meats. I'm like, just go carnivore. You don't have to go on Go-Low. So, Tracy, I
Do
hope
you
you
know
have
what it
success.
is? Do you know
I
the
don't even
deal?
know. I think it's a
Oh,
calories restricting thing. I don't know too much about it, but I'm just like, you don't need to try another fad diet. You
yeah.
don't need to,
Do an
because this is a way of
ancestral one.
eating. Yeah, this is a way of eating that can be a whole lifestyle. You don't even need to go on another diet ever. So I'm gonna go to the next one. Karen says, I love veggies, but I only ate green beans, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, and Brussels sprouts. I loved raw spinach and romaine and ate large salads at least twice a week. No more veggies. I did it slow. Good for you, Karen. That's
Good.
great. If you guys have any questions for Ellie, we're going to be, we have about 10 minutes left. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat if you have questions for her.
No one by so fast.
It did. It went so fast. So Becky says, yes, I've slowly removed veggies. I've had some avocado, onions, peppers, salsa, and pickles. Things don't things don't bother me as far as I can tell. I haven't had any veggies. I did try very early on. I tried to eat some broccoli, and my hand eczema broke out, and I said, you know what, I can't eat broccoli.
Oh, yeah.
Surprising. I was super surprised by that.
Well, I'm so glad, Becky, that you're learning your body. Because
Yes.
that's what's the most important thing. As long as you're prioritizing fatty meat, excuse me.
Meaty fat.
Meaty fat. Fatty, as long as you're prioritizing the fatty meat. And then
Yeah.
if you feel like you want to add it in, that more variety, and it's not giving you any issues, like you still feel like a superhuman, go for it. That's what I say,
That's right. Yeah. And she also says that her issues revolve more around the sugary processed foods, not vegetables and fruit. And the sugary processed foods, chips and popcorn and all of that stuff was all my problem. I could eat a whole pie for real, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully,
Like when
I could eat a whole
I
pie.
went into labor with my daughter, I had 4 chocolate donuts. My husband
my
got
God.
Dunkin' Donuts in a day because he's like, okay, what's gonna be? I hadn't had sugar the whole pregnancy except like bread, pasta, whatever. I ate 4 donuts a day, and that was easy. That was easy.
Yeah, you
So,
can easily eat 4 donuts. You try to eat 4 big ribeyes, I don't think you're gonna make it. All right, so let me go to this next question. So, I have 11 grandchildren, and I am quite concerned with what they're eating, to be honest. And what I'm wondering from you is, how do you transition? So, if there's a family with kids that wants to transition them to carnivore, how would you recommend that they do that?
okay, so we all have to look at our child as an individual. I don't think that there's going to be one specific plan that's perfect for every child. But what you can do is you can, like, I'll use my daughter, for example. I know that my daughter loved sausages. That's a carnivore food. So you take that sausage and you try to find the cleanest version of it. Amy Lou makes a really good clean sausage. My daughter loved cheese. That's a carnivore food. My daughter tolerated eggs, and stuff like that. It's like, so you try to find the carnivore foods that your children already enjoy. Or you look at their favorite foods, and like you might have to do some substitutions. Like you might have to make like a chaffle, like a cheese and egg and like pork rind, like waffle for a while. If they loved eating like Eggos, you might have to do that for a while, but you want to like slowly take out, obviously, like the processed foods have got to go. Like if you need to like substitute, like say they would come home and they would eat like some kind of sugary snack, I would replace it with a berry. It's like we're not trying to make them 100% on day one.
Right.
We as adults, we've built up this tolerance. We've had the pain. We have the know-how of saying, this is where I've been. These are the darkest days of my life. I never want to go back there again. So
Right.
we are in this headspace of going forward into battle. It's like, I'm going to fight these like inner demons that are telling me like that I need to eat the Chinese food and the ice cream. And so you don't want to do that with your children. You don't want it to be authoritative. and you want it to be slow and gradual. So gravitate toward, like, if your children like hamburgers, try to make like cheeseburgers, like just make the cheeseburger and then add some, everyone loves bacon. Can't tell me people don't like bacon. Put some bacon on there. If they like mayonnaise, like try to find a clean mayonnaise as best as you can without like palm oil, or try to make some yourself. It's like you might have to do more work in the beginning, but it's like your children and in your case, your grandchildren are everything to you.
That's right.
And in your house, like say like you're in a split household, like say you're divorced, you control what's in your home. If your kids are with their dad, like over the weekend or like next week and stuff, they're going to eat what they're going to eat over there. You have to give them the tools. You're going to say, this is a carbohydrate, this is a protein, this is fat, and these are the things that do to how they work in your body. This is type 2 diabetes. Maybe you know somebody with type 2 diabetes or has high blood pressure or is obese. You can use these people in your family as to say, like I say to my daughter, I say, you see this picture of mommy? And it was when I was very heavy, and she sees that I look different. And then I tell her, or like my husband, he still has like some like acne and like stuff like breakouts and stuff like that from his medicine that he takes. It messes, it's immunosuppressant. And so it affects his skin. And so he tells her like, I have this disease because I eat a lot of sugar. I eat a lot of donuts, whatever it is, like, waffles and pancakes. It's like, you have to be open. You have to be honest. Like, don't scare them. Don't throw all this, it's like, you never want it to be scary. So that's kind of what I did. And we just took it slow. Every day we tried to make the best choices possible. We got rid of all the bad foods, and we tried to take this, because like your life is in your hands. You hold it. And it's like, you just have to do the best you can. Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
That's it,
Absolutely. That's very good. And then what about when people say they can't afford to eat carnivore?
Oh, yeah. So this is great. How many times a week do you eat out?
Oops.
How many times a week do you get fast food? How many times a week do you buy an expensive face cream that you don't like and then you throw it away? How many times a week do you, it's like you see this thing. How many times do you go to the movies?
Yeah.
It's like we're all of our wallets are like stretched and twisted as far as they can go. Inflation is here. It's happening. And it's like, you're going to be paying when you go to the hospital like 20, 30 years because you have X, Y, and Z. Cancer loves sugar. It's like, I don't want anybody to have, you don't have to have cancer. You just don't. And so it's like, if you say that it's expensive, meat is going to be more expensive. Of course it is. But if you look at, I think Dr. Chafee, he says that like, if you actually look at like the contents of like vitamins and minerals and nutrition that you get from like a head of spinach or a head like cauliflower or something versus like steak or lamb or something like that, you're getting more value out of the meat. And there's things that you can do to make it like, cheaper. You don't have to get grass fed.
Right.
At all. You don't have to. Try to just keep it simple. Like my daughter, she likes to have like hamburger patties for breakfast. Ground beef is so cheap. Just get the fattiest, or like little, she calls them regular meatballs. I don't know why.
Regular
meatballs. Mommy, I would like some regular meatballs. I'm like, okay, I take ground beef, I roll them into meatballs, and I salt them, and I bake them, and that's it.
Just regular.
Butter's cheese. just regular. I guess maybe I made them like some other way. I just can't remember. But it's just, there's always an option to do the best for your family. We're a one income household. It's like, I'm not making any money on YouTube. This is a passion project.
Not yet. It's coming. It's coming, Ellie.
For you too.
You're going to make lots of money on YouTube.
No, don't. No, I wanted to be fun, but I appreciate that. So it's like, how often do you go shopping? Do you really like all those impulse buys? Like, sign off of Amazon, like, budget, look at what you have. You can make this work. Eggs are cheap, you know, butter is cheap, bacon is cheap. I mean, if you even want to go down the route, you can learn how to make organs taste good. Like, nobody wants to buy cow tongue. Cow tongue is, I've never done that. I'm just saying there's things you can do. It's not just like, don't stop yourself from feeling the best you can just because of price. You can cut
Right.
back on things.
Agreed. Man,
You
we're
don't
out
need
of
these.
time. Can you believe it? Oh my
Oh,
gosh, it's been an hour.
oh,
So Ellie, I just wanna I'm gonna try to put your channel up right
sure.
here. I'm gonna share the screen. Let's see if I can do it. Here we go. Do you see that channel?
Yay, that's me.
Yay, nourishment. Your nourishment redacted. Your nourishment has been redacted by Ellie.
Yeah,
And she's doing a lot of cool stuff on her channel. I just watched her do a grocery haul. She talks about her kids, she talks about her weight loss, and just doing an awesome job, Ellie. I appreciate you so much.
thank you.
And
If it's
so,
okay, can I just
yeah,
plug one thing right before we go?
absolutely. Feel
So
free.
on September 26th, myself, Christy, who's been in the comments, meeting wellness, Lindsay from Lindsay Lexus, we are all banding together to create a weekly live stream focused on women of all ages, all different demographics, and we want to hear their story. So it's going to be a platform where we all come together and we learn things together. We're gonna have fun games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So 8 p.m. Eastern time, starting September 26th, is going to be meeting your host. So it's just going to be us girls, Christy, Lindsay, and I. And then after that, we're going to start welcoming our guests, and Robin is going to be on our show. And so
Yay.
if you want to see more Robin and me hanging out, you should check out all of the live streams because I have them posted on my channel and under the live tab. You can go check that out, and you can see when Robin's going to come hang out with us lionesses. Because you're a lioness, Robin. Roar!
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
You're a
ma'am.
lioness. Exactly. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Ellie. I really appreciate you take the time to come and just be the first guest on my live Women of Wisdom series. It doesn't take a lot of age to be wise, but what it does take is a woman that builds her house. That's what the scripture that is on my heart to go along with this is about. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and it's been a great time, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.